Oh, hey guys, Krypt Krusher here, and welcome to what I'm calling the Skypocalypse. It's been 3 days since the official Skylanders website shut down, more or less confirming that Activision will not be continuing the series, or at least not anytime soon. As you can see, the community is not taking it very well. People are rampaging through the streets, murdering, stealing, all that apocalypse crap. But me, I am doing totally fine, because I'm one of the few people that still has access to the website and all of its minigames. This does mean that I'm a fugitive and everyone's looking for me, but it's fine, I have a plan. So while I wait for all this to blow over, I suppose I should talk about this website and why its removal has caused society to fall apart. It has blocked foo! While Skylanders had multiple websites, the Skylanders official website was the big boy, the one that everybody talked about, the one that everyone played minigames on, the one that has driven everyone insane after it was taken down. This website can be dated all the way back to September 26th, 2011, just 2 weeks before the release of Spyro's Adventure. Sadly, with it being so old, a lot of the things on this website just can't load, making a lot of it look unfinished and empty. Back in 2011, I didn't really have access to the internet, but I had Spyro's Adventure to keep me entertained. What I would do to go back and see it in its prime. But a surprising chunk of the website is still fully functional and looks decent. On the main page of the website, you are instantly greeted to the entire Spyro's Adventure roster. What's cool is that since not every Skylander was available from day one, the characters that weren't available yet were faded out, and you could see the amount of characters expanding throughout the passing months. And if you click on one of them, then you get a page showing off the Skylanders stats, some gameplay footage, their backstory, and also these really nice looking drawings of their weapons or attack method. The main focus of the website was clearly to tell you about the game, and they definitely did a good job of that. The website is easy to read and understand for both kids and parents alike. The website also teaches you to not bring two friends over to play Skylanders, because one of them will end up just having to point at stuff like this clown. But along with promoting the actual game, another big part of the website was Skylanders Universe. Skylanders Universe was an online game for PC and mobile, where you could transfer your Skylanders into the game by entering that figurine's unique toy code. You could customize your island, play minigames, and even interact with other players and visit their islands. Yeah, that's right, some of the very iconic minigames from the Skylanders website were originally made for Skylanders Universe. Sadly, Universe was ditched quite some time ago, April 2013 to be exact. And that's all I can really say about the website at this point. It was a pretty good era of Skylanders.com, I have to say. There were some changes made to the website's design here and there, especially when Skylanders Cloud Patrol released as the first mobile Skylanders game. They couldn't help but let me know about the game on the homepage 4 different times. I mean, the structure and function of the website stayed the exact same, just with lots of Cloud Patrol and Stump Smash giving me the stink eye. That was until September 25th, 2012, when the Skylanders official website got a little bit of a makeover. With there only being 3 weeks until the release of Giants, it was time to start shoving whales and trees in our faces. They actually had a countdown for when the game released, which is pretty cool. The website is now made up of small islands that you can travel around with your cursor. God, it might just be that this is a very old website, but the control for moving around is absolutely insufferable. But apart from that, I really love the direction they took here. It feels a lot more Skylandery with the floating islands. Each island was for a different thing. One for looking at characters, one for finding out more about Giants, one for the mobile games, one for Skylanders Universe, and also, interestingly, a separate island for minigames. One big addition they made to this version of the website was being able to play the minigames without going onto Skylanders Universe. Universe was still fully functional and you could still play the games on that too, but this made the minigames a lot more accessible for kids who couldn't sign up for an account. This was a very good call in my opinion, and I'm glad that the precious minigames weren't lost when they pulled the plug on Universe. From this point forward, the minigames truly were the main attraction of this website. Without them, it would be okay but not special or memorable. I feel like a lot of people probably only wait on the website for these games, and that's fair enough. Sheepshot is a game I forgot I even played until now. Maybe I forgot about this one because it is by far the most basic game of the bunch. You launch a sheep out of a cannon and you control the sheep with your cursor, bounce off of clouds to try and stay in the sky for as long as possible. That's it. There are no levels, no different sheep to use or anything. The only thing you can do is try and beat your high score, and then again, and again, and again for endless eternity. I will say that simplicity is very important for these kinds of games, but a little bit more meat on Sheepshot would have made it much more enjoyable. As it stands, I suppose it's fun for a little while, but compared to the other options, this one was a little lackluster. Sky Defense is next, and a minigame based on turret sections might sound terrible, but this is actually pretty great. First of all, it's much easier to aim with a mouse rather than a joystick, very fast and responsive. Also, the game is fast paced, frequently introduces new enemies, and also gets pretty challenging after a while. I find it cool how if you're not shooting, you have a shield up to protect yourself from cannonballs, and if you start shooting, it disappears. Do I shoot down that ship, but risk being open for attack? It adds a layer of strategy which would have definitely improved the turret sections from the main games. I had a very pleasant experience with this game, until it completely crashed when I died. One of the best games on here for sure. SWAT sure does bring me back. It's another simple game like Sheepshot, but with much more interesting gameplay. A ton of different insects fill up your screen. Swatting them gives you points, and if you swat multiple of the same insect in a row, your points will keep on multiplying. There are also golden bugs that occasionally fly around, which give you lots of points, but there are also evil bugs that try to blend in with the other insects and will deduct you points if you swat them. And that's SWAT for you. Just like Sheepshot, sadly you just keep on replaying the same level over and over again, which is a bit of a shame. A treasured classic for sure, but not very much replayability. I don't like Block Fu very much. This is the most copy and pasted game you will ever find. It is just like any other Tetris versus mode you've ever played. It's so generic and uncreative. But for a Tetris versus mode, hell yeah, it's got a hot dog. There is one Skylander for each element to play as, and after winning a match, half of a trophy fills up. And if we win again, you guessed it, the trophy fully fills up. This is a virtual piece of rubbish, but you know me, prone to making bad decisions, so I thought to myself, I wonder if there's any bonus content you unlock for getting a trophy for every Skylander. So yeah, basically I played 16 matches of Block Fu, which took me an hour to do, and not only was there absolutely nothing given to you for getting all 8 trophies, but I accidentally played as Bass for a third time, and I found out that there's also a silver trophy and a gold trophy. If you think I'm playing 48 rounds of a minigame I don't even like that much, then you're wrong. So wrong. But what if there is something for getting a gold trophy with every Skylander? That's just what I get for thinking these games are gonna award me with something every time I complete them. I had to remember that they were just meant to be 5-minute distractions, just a fun little thing to play for a bit, and then completely forget about for 5 years until I decide to make a YouTube video. Well, anyway, Castle Assault is here, and oh my glumshanks do I love this game. I don't tend to throw this word around often, but I am so nostalgic towards Castle Assault. It's clearly an Angry Birds clone, but that doesn't matter to me. I have some very fond memories of playing this game as a youngling, and it's so amazing to play it again after so many years. The game itself is decent. I didn't play it for too long because god damn it gets tough. Just like Angry Birds, certain characters are more effective against different materials and have special abilities. Oh, here's one thing that makes the game different to Angry Birds. Overall, it's not the game itself that I love, but the memories surrounding it. I have more memories with this game than Spyro's Adventure and Giants combined, which is actually quite shameful. Such a fun time replaying this game, even if it is a bit of a rip-off. For quite a while, these 5 games held the website together. That was until out of the blue, when 2 powerful entities were born. Yeah, the website received an update. Technically, it was kinda just for Skylanders universe, since Skylanders Giants characters were now in the game. But along with that, we got 2 new minigames for Skylanders universe, which of course could also be played straight from the website. Chompy Stomp, Chompy Stomp, Chompy Stomp. I never played this one. Which is a real shame, it's not half bad. Executioner Man has done a naughty, so you select 2 Skylanders and start walking. Get used to the walking, cause there's a lot of walking. You go along a straight path with your 2 Skylanders and you shoot projectiles automatically. There are a bunch of enemies that stand in your way, so you either kill them or avoid them. It sounds quite boring when I explain it, but I had my fun with Chompy Stomp. It's not particularly difficult, especially when you get the right upgrades, since it becomes so unbalanced and broken, but in a fun way. Also, that victory screen, it's definitely worth it. But now onto the magnum opus of the Skylanders website. None of the other minigames can even compare to this one, and it should be worshipped like a god. And of course, the game I'm referring to is... Where'd you have a spoon? Oh my... Was I attacked? With a spoon? My hoodie! Yes, hello, I'd like to report a robbery. Yes, I know it's the apocalypse. Sky apocalypse, actually. Oh, fine then. I'm sure they'll call me back. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, right, I just finished talking about the best game on the website. So, let's see what happens next. Well, another year has passed by, so let's bring in the... Davy Jones? At this point, it's obvious that the website gets completely changed up when a new game releases. Because on October 1st, 2 weeks before Swap Force, what is this place? Up to this point, Skylanders.com was having a huge identity crisis. It's like it was changing phone number and moving to a different country every year. I don't recognise anything about this anymore. How insecure was this web designer? Not to say that I dislike this new look, but I don't understand why they struggled so much to keep the same general idea, or at least try to resemble the previous designs in some way. The front page of the website is all about the tentacle gorilla. Nothing but the tentacle gorilla. So the main thing you can do here is swap swappers around. Okay, I gotta get the game now. The Swap Force era reverted back to keeping a simple looking format. Everything looks nice and clean, and while I did like the floating island idea, it was a bit frustrating trying to get around the place. Now everything is laid out for you to select. The characters, information on the games, the mobile stuff, where to buy the games, and of course the minigames. A few months had passed since the tragic death of Skylanders Universe, and it was good to still see the minigames thriving. We actually got a few new ones to play, all based around the Swap Force characters this time. Alright, let's just get Diggity Dash out of the way. This game is pretty dreadful. You pick your swapper and you dig down collecting treasure and avoiding bombs. Except you don't have to. By pressing the spacebar, you create a small shockwave that destroys all bombs around you, so you actually don't have to do anything. Say what you will about Sheep Shot or SWAT, but at least they were remotely enjoyable. This is so brain dead, there is zero fun to be had and I lost interest after a minute. It is a disgrace to the website's name. And Woolwarp doesn't even exist. I'm not sure if there was ever a point where this game was playable, but it's the only one that I don't have access to, and it's nowhere to be seen on YouTube either. The only gameplay I've seen is from a Jet Morgan trailer. Now is probably a better time than ever to mention that Jet Morgan Games were the developers of all of the website's minigames. They already had a lot of history with making small online games, so Activision saw them as a good fit. Jet Morgan Games have an unlisted YouTube trailer showcasing some of the games, including about 20 seconds of Woolwarp. It's not very good quality and it's all sped up for some reason, but I think I got the gist about what the game was about. You basically move from platform to platform, collecting money and trying to save as many sheep as you can before the time runs out. All of this while enemies move around and platforms fall. It's all very reminiscent of the teleport zones from the actual game. Of course, there is a lot left to know about this game, and sadly it will probably stay that way. But hey, at least we got Sneak Attack. Yay. Sneak Attack is just not fun. You go from room to room collecting treasure, disabling lasers, and avoiding being caught. Your character moves at a tremendously sluggish pace, and the whole thing ends up just being a test of your patience and how long you can sit through it without realising you could be doing better things with your afternoon. Not to mention that the game has terrible collision. The hitboxes for walls and switches are so inaccurate. All of this adds up to generally not having a very good time. Just like Diggity Dash, I quickly lost any interest in Sneak Attack, and I didn't even manage to make it through the second level. And now for the final new minigame from the Swap Force era, Skyline Speeder. This one is actually pretty decent. You control either Frino or Roller Brawl with your cursor as you zoom through an area filled with enemies and obstacles, and you have to make it to the end before you run out of energy, which can be restored by these weird hoop things. Simple concept, fast gameplay, it's got everything a game like this needs. I'll admit, once you've seen it for a minute, you've basically seen it all, but hey, at least we got one Swap Force minigame that I don't despise. Oh, well look at the time, it's August 31st, 2014, you know what that means. Boom, time for some vegetables and hammer. What the hell even is Wallop? During the upcoming months before its release, the website was all about Trap Team, a little bit of Trap Team on the side, and a cold glass of Trap Team to wash it all down. To be fair, that was expected, but something else happened that was pretty incredible. They didn't change the website. It still works in the same way and has the same layout. It's a very colourful and clean look, and I'm glad they stuck with this style for the other two games as well. Strangely, when going onto Skylanders.com, you were immediately taken to a page all about Trap Team and had to click this thing at the top to go to the main page. I get it, there's a new Skylanders game and this one has a purple Chaos Trap, big deal. And what's up with the Trap Team logo specifically on this page? It looks like it's stuck two blue carrots up his ears. Anyways, not many major changes were made. Obviously now you can have a look at the Trap Team characters and villains, but things were starting to stay consistent, and I like that. Over the lifespan of Trap Team, we were blessed with 3 more minigames to play, whilst waiting for superchargers I guess. Light and Dark Puzzle Passage. Since Trap Team introduced these two elements, what better way to show them and the new characters off than with a bad minigame. Both elements have different levels to play, and overall have a different puzzle style. For the light levels, you have to go around collecting all of the light spheres and activate a button to beat the level. All of this while solving block puzzles and watching out for obstacles and enemies. This gets painfully stale, and just like Sneak Attack, some of the hitboxes for certain things like your character are pretty scuffed. And these these damn turrets just love taking advantage of that. And the dark levels are worse. Now you collect all of the dark spheres, and once you do, all of the defenses will activate and destroy you instantly. So really the main thing you do is moving blocks to stop the cannons from shooting you. And if you move a block in a place that the game doesn't want you to, then there is no way of beating the stage and you have to restart. I spent a length of time that I'm not willing to share on level 1, and I'm not very proud of it. God damn it, how could they do this to you, Gerard? Overall, just quite a soulless game that definitely didn't have much thought put into it. Mini Mission Jailbreak is easily the best of these free games. You pick a mini to play as, and your mission is to go on a killing spree and free the trapped Skylanders from prisons. It's a pretty fun game, it controls well, the combat's alright, and the levels are nice and short. I bet this entire game in less than 5 minutes. It is so fast and easy to beat. I played it again to see if there were any bonus levels or anything, but no. They spent their time making levels for light and dark puzzle patches instead of this, and that hurts in a lot of ways. If they focused more on this game, rather than the other two, then we would actually have ourselves a pretty good minigame from the modern website era. But it's funny how life disappoints you with these small things, isn't it? And then there's Panel Panic. At first glance, this game looked really promising. Using Snapshot, your goal is to destroy the ultimate weapon by disabling all of the special buttons on each floor. But that would be way too easy, so some of the buttons can only be unlocked by certain villains who you can trap and play as. That mechanic seems oddly familiar. Only problem is that this game is just a copy and pasted version of the others. You can pretty clearly see the similarities in these free games, and it plays in the exact same clunky and sluggish way as they do. To start with, I wasn't having a bad time, but Wolfgang quickly changed that. If you thought he was hard in Trap Team, sweet Jesus, just wait until you play this. I can't quite put my finger on why, but Wolfgang is so difficult to trap. I suppose maybe it's because he's faster than you, does more damage and has more health, and if you stop running away from him to attack, he'll just attack you harder. I was only able to defeat him with complete luck and bad game collision, but oh my god was he a nightmare. But as soon as you actually get to swap to him, the game becomes very easy. Since they don't have health bars, you can just soak up all the hits with Wolfgang and deal a ton of damage. After that, you simply just annihilate the Gulper and press all the buttons. This game also has a stupid mechanic where parts of the rooms switch places, which adds nothing to the gameplay and just makes it more tedious to get to places. I would give this game a final verdict, but it doesn't deserve one. I'm not really sure what happened, but there is such a huge gap in quality from the Trap Team and Swap Force minigames compared to the older ones. Swap Force just didn't have any fun or addictive games. Skyline Speeder wasn't bad, but nothing close to the classic lineup. And the Trap Team games are a little better overall. The light and dark puzzle passage has a decent concept behind it, but it got old quickly. Panel Panic is just flat out not worth your time, and Mini Mission Rescue had so much potential, but it was totally wasted. God, what a grim time for minigames. At least we still had the treasured jewels to play instead. Okay, Superchargers is here. Time to summon the Kong. The Superchargers era basically just took the Trap Team design and made a few adjustments, plenty of which were carried on through Imaginators too, meaning that they pretty much perfected the website and actually settled on what it should look like. All of the same features were kept from the previous versions. The biggest change was with the character browsing section. It's a lot cleaner looking now and has quite a cool layout when you select a character. It shows their backstory, their stats, and all of their different versions like reposes and variants. There's also a neat little feature that allows you to add a Skylander to your wish list, so you can keep track of the ones you want. It used to be so quick and easy to look around all of the characters and add them to your wishlist. I miss this website more than I probably should. But hey, we got 2 new games to play. Splash Circuit. Yet another mini game I've never played before. Actually, I don't have any memory of playing any of the newer games. Maybe they were that bad that my hippocampus just said no. This game is certainly unique. You ride around in a vehicle and have to collect all of your vehicle tokens before the computer players to win. It feels like a more extensive version of a Mario Party minigame or something. There are 3 different courses to choose from, but not much variety between them. I quite like this one. If there were more areas to play in, maybe some other characters to choose, we would have a very good game on our hands, but as it stands, it's still pretty solid. SWITCHBACK RACETRACK is up. I really like this one. This is definitely my favourite minigame since Giants. You basically race through a canyon and you can move from lane to lane to avoid obstacles and other racers. Something about the way this game plays is oddly mesmerising. It's pretty simple but memorable and different. Just like Splash Circuit, some different locations and more characters would have been really great. Honestly, it was relatively smooth sailing for the rest of the website's life. Imaginators rolled around and the website was barely changed at all. On the main page you could customize your own Imaginator, which is pretty cool, and there are quite a lot of different parts to choose from. I tried to recreate Baguette, but he wasn't a huge fan of the whole having a torso thing, so I guess that's the end of that. There was also a new section for the Skylanders Academy TV show. Okay, I'm starting to miss the identity crisis. They figured out what they wanted to do with the website and that's great, but I loved exploring all of the different styles and designs. It's just a little boring now. But hey, we have one final minigame to play. We've been through some rough patches here and there, but overall, the Skylanders website minigames were a blast to play through. Some of them were kinda just a play at once experience, but there were others that you could play for hours on end and still come back to later. They gave the website its charm, its personality, and so much more. Good God, I think this might be the most dreadful game I've ever played. Be your own Imaginator. What a terrible way to end things. You know that character creator thing from the actual website? This minigame is that, but 1,000 times worse. It is the cheapest, lowest quality game on the website. So you choose a battle class, an element, a sensei to train you, you can pick from about 10 different body parts, 2 weapons, and your character is just a still image. And now we have to make a name. Oh man, I always found this part super difficult, so I'm very glad that we already get certain words to choose from. And just like that, Happy Awesome Destructor was born. And then you get a scenario with your Imaginator, which is different depending on your choices. There is no game. Pfft, play as your Imaginator. Why on earth would you want to do that? And if you still have a little bit of dignity left inside you, you can always get rid of it by sharing your Skylander with friends on social media. This game is just so dreadful. It isn't so bad it's good. No, there is literally no fun or joy to be had with this game in any way, shape or form. Oh man, I really hope that in a couple of years time, this minigame won't be available to play anymore. What have I done? A few years had passed since really anything had happened on the website. They updated it for the new season of Skylanders Academy, but strangely there was never anything for Ring of Heroes. So it was kind of a wasteland over there, and, well, one day the minigames just stopped working. Nobody really knew what happened, but it stayed like that forever. And then the whole bloody thing shut down. If you search up Skylanders.com, all you're gonna see is Kingpin laughing in your face, cause nothing is there anymore. You just get sent to the Activision support page, and there is no way to still access the website apart from its archives. What a painfully unpleasant way to go. Well, today we've delved into the history of our beloved, but very dead, Skylanders website. It's had its ups and downs, but I am really glad I got to experience this website back in its glory days, and I will always have a soft spot for it. Sure, it was a good website, but I think the main reason that people are upset about it being shut down is because of what it resembled. Think of it as the beating heart of the Skylanders series. It's been a long 5 years without Skylanders 7, but the heart is still beating, which means that there is a chance of Activision finally shining some light on one of their most beloved franchises. Okay, so now imagine Activision just beating the heart until it's a squishy mess. If this was Activision's way of saying that they're dropping the franchise completely, then all this apocalypse crap, well deserved. I swear there's one game that I missed out though. Oh my god, I forgot about the best game on the website. That's violent concussions for you. Well anyway, I suppose we should talk about it before we're really inconvenienced. Oh dear. It seems they've found me. Well, I better skedaddle, but if I make it out of this apocalypse alive, then we'll talk about it then. See ya. And kids, remember, block through stinks.